Good afternoon. Welcome to Geoff and Paul's Beer Review.
Welcome.
I'm Geoff.
I'm Paul.
And today we're going to be drinking pumpkin beer and reviewing it for you.
So it's kind of a project we started years ago, well, a couple years ago. I mean, we've been doing it for like many years, but 2 years ago we really sat down and kind of said, okay, let's get serious about this pumpkin beer thing that we just geek out on. So we got 2 years ago 35 different beers, and we drank them extensively.
We did. And all these 35 beers from North America. This year, however, we've included 2 additional beers from Belgium, which are pretty exciting. We'll get to those, I think, in a few days.
Yeah, soon. And so the 35 we did years ago. We've got like a photo. We took this photo. We put it up on my steps here. Top to bottom, left to right, best to least best. Top shelf is kind of what we're focusing on this year, but also the middle shelf. Top shelf, basically, they all tied for number 1. Really, really outstanding pumpkin beers. The middle shelf, good, still really good. The bottom shelf, don't even bother.
Yeah.
So
in these videos, we're going to focus on the best of the best and review them in groups of 3. Give you a breakdown, body color, body weight, flavor, aroma, and then finish. And so you'll be able to decide for yourself which ones you want to venture into this year or next year.
And I think, we can like talk about beer lots while we're doing this, but in the meantime we should like crack a beer. So
let's do it. What are we starting with today, Paul?
So we're placing this year's in order also from best to least best. We've started this project. This is the first podcast that we're doing, so we've already kind of got to get going on this. So you kind of come in like halfway through. So to catch you up to speed quickly, we've got a placement of what we've had this far. This year, what have we had? 22
beers, I think.
Ish.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple that we're not quite sure where they go in the order. So I think today we should select a few beers that's going to help us place the ones that still need to
finalize it for the end result.
So here's the infamous steps where we took the photo 2 years ago of the 35 beers that we initially started this project on. This year we like I said, we're just doing like kind of the top row that all tied for number 1, and as many of the middle rows as we can find. Some of them aren't available this year. Some companies didn't do it. Moon Underwater, they decided not to even make one this year, but they said they'll be back next year, so looking forward to theirs. So I guess the project today is to kind of find a home for these out-of-place beers. Timmermans, Pumpkin Lambic?
Yeah, and this is one of the beers from Belgium that we'll be covering soon.
Good beer, really good beer, really good beer. It's making the top shelf. So.
Again, we need a couple more bottles to decide on where it's going to be finally placed.
Just to be sure.
Exactly.
Pumpkin Chai, I like this one a lot.
It's good, very unique beer.
Yeah, so I don't know, somewhere between Yukon and Red Racer, and so basically we'll have to get a couple of these and one of these to be sure.
It's a painstaking process, but somebody's got to do it.
So yeah, how's new smoked pumpkin they put out this year? You love that.
Fantastic. If you like smoke, if you like meat, bacon, you'll love this beer.
I liked it. Not
Paul's
as much,
a vegetarian.
but I still liked it. And this crazy one, this was
another Belgian beer.
It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, not a lambic, not a sour like this one up top here, but on the stronger side, closer to a Belgian triple.
Mm. So we'll have to have that, along with a cannery, and along with a sweet potato harvest, which is on the menu today.
It is, yeah.
So that'll help hopefully put a bit more order to this step.
Yeah, so I think today we're going to be covering, again, 4 Miles Sweet Potato Harvest, Parallel 49's Schadenfreude, and lastly, Russell Brewing's Happy Jack. Now you might be wondering about this sweet potato harvest. We're reviewing pumpkin beer, yet it's made with sweet potato. That is true. They use all the same pumpkin spices all these other beers do. And in fact, there's a few other pumpkin beers from various breweries that don't actually use pumpkin itself and choose to use squash, relative of the pumpkin. But again, you get a lot of the same character profile, flavors, aromas from adding those spices and that orange meaty vegetable.
And now is a sweet potato, is that a squash?
Probably a close relative, but I don't think so. I think
Not actually a squash, just a potato.
No, just a potato.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe close to a yam, but again, that orange color, it does it.
All right, I think that's the first one we should crack today. What do you think?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll be the lightest.
To the fridge. All right, so sweet potato.
Sweet potato.
Sweet
4
potato.
Mile Brewing.
All right, man.
Right here in Victoria, BC.
Okay.
Bam. What?
Yeah!
It's here.
Oh man.
Okay, this is a surprise.
Yeah, this is.
Obviously, this isn't 4 Mile's sweet potato harvest. This is Elysian's Punkachino.
Punkachino.
Yeah, a coffee-flavored pumpkin beer. We had this, what, two years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, I went on a trip to Seattle and brought this little sucker back.
You can only get this in Seattle. We're in Victoria,
Yeah.
BC. This is not even in our country.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right on. Awesome.
So, yeah.
So we're going to start with this.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's a fantastic surprise. See, I didn't even know about this. This wasn't, we didn't plan this.
Our friends David and Margot brought this back. They were on a
Of course
trip.
you guys did.
And,
That's awesome.
So, here we go.
Right on.
Oh, man.
Right
I
on.
am so looking forward to this. I can't even say.
Beautiful.
Can't even say.
Fantastic. So Elysian does, they do 4 pumpkin beers. Well, they have in recent years. And every one is just blowing us away. Top of the list for sure.
Oh, man.
Kenpai. Color's fantastic. We got a beautiful, bronzy chocolate color here. And again, that's going to be contributed by the coffee that's in this beer. Fantastic. Yeah.
That's
Notes of roasted coffee.
quite sweet.
It is sweet. Yeah, there's some sugar there, and then some undertones of all these fantastic pumpkin spices.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but actually, I went for a coffee today.
You did?
I did. I went for a pumpkin latte this morning.
Right on.
I like
Congrats.
one coffee a year. That's whenever it's pumpkin coffee season.
Of course, it's pumpkin.
That just kind of almost shoots to number 1, doesn't it?
It's fantastic. It's amazing. And again, just like on the nose, the aroma, those coffee notes carry forward to the front of the palate, and they linger. They stay there. So if you're a coffee lover, this is going to be a beer for you.
See, we didn't really have an order the other year when we did this. This was kind of like the first step, all tied for number 1. And Punkachino was right up there with Steamworks and Swans.
Yeah.
Steamworks and Swans this year, we got Steamworks number 1, Swans number 2. And actually another Elysian number 3.
It is number 3 for sure.
But I don't know. I mean, right away I put this in front of the Night Owl Elysian.
I think so. In terms of dynamic and unique qualities, this is definitely quite up there. Number 3 spot for sure. And again, those coffee notes, they take over the front palate, and on the back you get all these fantastic pumpkin flavors, the meat and the spices.
Again, I'm not a coffee drinker, but it's interesting having coffee with carbonation. Man, wow.
Screw Christmas, really.
Man, I totally wasn't going to tell you.
This is good.
See your
great for the
natural
camera,
reaction.
for sure.
That's just beautiful too. It's like, it's orange and black. It's just like pumpkin and coffee.
Fantastic. So I'm pretty sure these guys use a local coffee roaster, Stumptown. And anybody looking on this video from, the Seattle or Washington area, you'll know these guys. They do a lot of cold brew coffee. You'll see them in a lot of grocery stores and convenience stores in the States. Fantastic job.
Root beer. I'm actually getting some root beer in
There are
this.
some root beer notes for sure, and yeah, I guess that would come from a combination of the malts in the beer, the coffee, and the pumpkin spices all working together
That makes sense.
as one. Fantastic label too, obviously. Pumpkin breathing in all those cappuccino vapors. It's good.
Pumpkino. All right. Where does it go? Where does this go?
It's definitely number 3 spot, I think.
You know, for sure, definitely number 3. I think with the potential to climb, probably have to have another Steamworks and another Swans just to be sure.
Again, a painstaking process, but we have to do it for you guys, for sure.
Yeah, just to be sure. Do you want to cap this? Try something else, come back and forth?
I think we should. This is a very strong beer, and it does overwhelm the palate. So I think taking a break from this, having a palate cleanser, and then visiting another beer would be good.
Yeah. All right. So we got these handy dandy, you know, more commonly used for wine stoppers where you can suck out the air. So this will keep. Well, it'll keep a good long time, but it's not going to last beyond like another hour anyway.
No, we'll be done after
But
that,
still, just... so yeah, okay. Now I return you to the regular scheduled beer that we were originally going to drink. So what do you think? The sweet potato?
Yeah, so I think actually, because we started off with such a heavy beer, I think we should, again, have a palate cleanser, work backwards. So I think what we're going to have to do is maybe visit Schadenfreude from Parallel 49 in Vancouver.
Oh yeah, totally.
And then work down to sweet potato.
Right, now that we've gone to a darker...
But it's a great surprise. I love it. It's fantastic.
Nice.
All right. Let's rinse these glasses.
You want to rinse those?
Yeah. So we figured out that we need palate cleansers in between our pumpkin beers. Carbs work very well. Recently we've discovered that potatoes, roasted, mashed, they work very well.
My girlfriend had some kicking around in the fridge and just had a scoop the other day just to fill the void, and lo and behold, if it didn't totally cleanse the palate, so that after 4 beers, the 5th one still tasted like it was the first one. So there's a tip. Pumpkin beer tends to have the best labels too. Even the ones that suck have good labels generally. But Schadenfreude's actually got a pretty spooky one with what is this? Scarecrow pumpkin, headless horseman kind of dude wearing lederhosen. And
classic October looking label for sure.
And Schadenfreude, the word itself, is pretty cool. It means I believe it means taking pleasure in other people's pain or misfortune. So, Schadenfreude.
Halloween, very good. Let's crack these.
Alright. Oh, yeah.
Alright. Perfect. You can't even taste that pumpkino now.
Yeah.
A good and a bad thing.
Yeah. I'm not getting really any nose off this actually.
And again, the last few times we've had this beer, there wasn't too much. It's a solid beer, medium bodied, more closer to an Oktoberfest style beer than anything.
Yeah.
On the nose.
Beautiful color. That's
It is, yeah. Golden straw with some hints of coppery hues, I guess you'd say. But again, it still is sweet on the nose for sure.
If I was to paint this, I think it's like a bit of some kind of orange with a bit of a burnt umber in there to create the color.
And it is a very fall color. Kenpai.
Kalpai. That's good. I mean, everything pales in comparison after this.
For sure, most definitely. And this hasn't been a huge front runner in any years that we've been drinking this particular beer. It's been solid. Again, a medium-bodied beer with some sweet and smooth pumpkin notes.
It was about number 22 out of 35 before.
Yeah,
But
I think I think this year it might end up being, well, maybe closer to the top.
I think it's jumped a few.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it's good. It's really good. I would never turn this beer down.
No, and those of you who may not be keen on pumpkin beer or pumpkin flavor in itself, this might be a fantastic alternative to a good festive beer during October, because it's not overpowering by any means.
I feel like I'm getting some like maraschino or something.
Yeah, there's some sweet, tangy notes to it. Maraschino cherries, orange.
That's good. That's another beer you could almost like make a cocktail with or something.
For sure.
We were saying you could do that with How Sound's new smoked pumpkin ale.
Yeah, maybe crossing that with some whiskey or maybe even some rum.
Scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making a nice cocktail, playing on those natural smoky flavors in the whiskey also, for sure.
Yeah, but then this one similarly, I can see this being combined in some kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a well structured beer for sure. It's got some backbone.
Yeah, it's good. I could probably drink like 4 of these.
Which is good because it comes in a 6-pack. These are smaller bottles, so maybe that's why. Or a good sharing pack, anyways. So Parallel 49, they release 2 beers every year, or have at least in the last 3.
Right.
This Schadenfreude, a classic twist on an Oktoberfest ale with the pumpkin spices.
Right. What's the other one?
Lost Souls.
Lost Souls.
Which is pumpkin stout.
It's a
porter.
It's a porter, but is it a chocolate pumpkin?
Chocolate
pumpkin porter.
Yeah,
it gets points for uniqueness, but it doesn't really have any pumpkin-ness.
No, and it's tough.
Really.
When you have a heartier beer, again, like a stout or a porter, it ends up being quite a battle with those pumpkin flavors, trying to overcome or even at least balance with those heavy malts that a stout or a porter would normally have.
But it's a surprise, actually. It was this year's surprise contender, actually. Lost Souls jumped a fair amount of spaces from our original test 2 years ago. And
that's another thing. There's a lot of beers that may be in the the latter portion of our list, but again, there's room for improvement in all these breweries. So we don't want to excommunicate any of these beers the next year because they could be better. They could surprise us and they could jump a number of spots.
Where do they get their pumpkins from? How is the pumpkin harvest in that region that year? I mean, there's so many variables.
For sure.
That's why we have to be diligent and do this not just this year or 2 years ago,
year
but
after
every year for the rest of our Halloweens. But I mean, I like that we've done the homework, so we don't have to do with like the bottom step. We can just contend with like the top and the middle, the best of the best.
For sure, and that's what we'll be focusing on for sure. But again, some of these beers can surprise us. Jump a few spots, become better.
Some have dropped.
Yeah, some have dropped. You just never know. So many variables for sure.
Yeah. Red Racer this year. That was the big
top contender. Yeah, I think
surprise.
It was number 5 or what are we looking at?
It was like a good. It's
number 7.
It was kind of number 7, but again, the whole top step kind of tied for number 1, really. But this year it's like at least in the middle step.
It's down.
It's almost
quite
in the
bit.
bottom step. Really, it's like So
stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
You never know, but again, we'll keep trying these to make sure that after watching these videos. We do the legwork for you.
I think Red Racer though, we did like I feel like I've done like 4 bottles of Red
This
Racer.
year?
I think I have at least
2 for me, I think.
2 for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well I've done.
But we'll keep coming back to it.
Yeah,
At least once or twice more.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, all these beers, they can, again, variables are involved. You may have this Punkachino, and then this Schadenfreude might taste different now than it would before the Punkachino.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing we'll keep track of. You know, what we had in before what, and in the order that we had them, and then reverse the order and do it again, so as to double check. You know, maybe we'll even do some blindfold testing in the future. You know, I mean,
We should, yeah.
Okay.
Just to make it
All right.
completely unbiased.
That's something
for
we've
sure.
talked about before, but
Yeah.
we've never done.
Most definitely.
So, okay.
Because we are pretty partial after these years of drinking all these pumpkin beers. You know, labels can have a big influence on people's drinking habits. You know, we could be drawn to a very particular label, and maybe, you know, like a different wine or a beer much better. So you never know. Blindfolds are good.
Yeah. Last,
But
not
not
least.
and one of the more unique beers year after year is 4 Mile Sweet Potato Harvest Spiced Ale. Now 4 Mile's been making some pretty fantastic strides, both in their restaurant and in their beer production in the last 4 years. Not one of their beers is an ill contender in any regard across the board when it comes to styles of beer. Now again, like we talked about earlier, there's no pumpkin in this. There's pumpkin spice. But the sweet potato adds that sweetness, that meaty body that the pumpkin normally would. And again, we're not going to hate on this because there's no pumpkin in it. The pumpkin spice is there. There's a few other breweries that use squash instead of pumpkin.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as a strong contender, yeah, I mean it is. This was actually the first year for me drinking it because I know you're not going to believe this. Like actually, you'll believe this. 'Cause you don't really know me. I wasn't drinking last year, so this year is the first year that I've actually had this one, and yeah. So we don't even have it in the original.
We don't, no.
35. It's going to be fun to place it.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You should do well. Can't buy it.
That is just.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of the more darker pumpkin style beers that we've drank.
I don't know what it is, but something about like the darker the beer, the more I tend to like it. It's not like a rule of thumb. It's just a coincidence, really. In real life, not pumpkin beer season. Pretty much, I'm just like stouts and porters, anyways, and that kind of is my rule of thumb. If I can see through it, I really don't like
usually
it.
Go for it. For sure.
But I've noticed with the pumpkin beers too, like the darker they are, the more rich, the more full, the more.
And you know what? It might be the malts bringing out these pumpkin spices, the pumpkin meat flavor, for sure.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
it's got a bit of a nose of gingerbread or something. Do you get?
Yeah, you know what? I think there might be some ginger in there, and again, it's a very smooth sweetness coming off the nose with those pumpkin spices.
It's interesting. Sour, not like those overly sour beers. Sour beers, they're called.
Yeah, you know what? I find it's a fantastic blend of, that tartness, that sourness, but also the caramelly malts coming through the front palate, and then that sour finish.
It's interesting in that it's got like less carbonation than a lot of beers too. Like not to the point where it's flat. By any stretch, but it's just noticeably less carbonation. So you're
smooth, creamy, melty. Yeah, that carbonation doesn't quite come through, but it does kind of melt, and
it kind of leaves you to contemplate it a bit longer than beers with carbonation, where they kind of the effervescence kind of just like explodes onto your tongue, and I don't know. I find with those it's maybe a bit easier to pick out different notes. So this is like, it's kind of like drink it and go.
Yeah, this reminds me of a good barrel aged beer, or wine for that matter.
Barrel aged.
For sure. Again, like those caramelly malts coming through. You do have some oaky notes to it. I can't recall if this is actually even done in barrels.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would be surprised.
No, you know what? It's not. At least it doesn't say. But they add maple syrup to it. So it comes from a tree. Barrels are made from trees. So yeah, I think that makes sense.
Oh man, you must make me waste my beer.
Yeah, so ginger,
We don't
nutmeg,
spit beer
cinnamon,
here.
and maple syrup.
Yeah,
In combination with that sweet potato. And again, like, in a blind taste test, if we didn't know this was a sweet potato beer, we'd think it was a normal pumpkin beer.
Yeah.
So it's good not to judge, for sure.
Yeah. Where does this fall on the stair of beer? What do we call those stairs?
Stairway to Beerman. I think that's a song. Yeah, you know what? It's to be honest, I think that's going to be up there, not only in uniqueness, but again in overall flavor and composure.
Actually, it's already up there. This is like deciding. I'm curious now. I'm curious. Do you want to go to the stairs?
We should go to the stairs.
Come with me to the stairs.
Yeah.
So
right.
then, that's the harvest, the sweet potato. So sweet potato following here, right after cannery, which is here, which you can't see because of these two beers. So we'll move these down. These are the three that still need to find a placement amongst these. And now I think, being that this harvest that we drank, does this change in the ranks to you anywhere today?
To be honest, I think it's ahead of cannery at this time. It definitely is.
I was going to say that too, and I'm even thinking
it might
perhaps
even be
ahead of Red
Racer,
Racer, which was again the shock this year. The nobody saw it coming, but they were like way up here the other year. I don't know what happened. Seriously, I've drank like 4 of those, and they're just not quite cutting it like they used to. So,
and again, another beer that we will revisit and I guess finally place. You know what? It could have been a case of we ate something weird or drank something weird.
That's
before.
why I've tried it 4 different times just to be sure.
We need to be sure. So again, we'll try it again and try to find a final placement for it. But I think for now, at least it beats out cannery.
It definitely beats out cannery. Should we just leave it at that?
I think we'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, so boom, 1 spot. Now, does that change anything with these though, too? Right? I mean, for me, I'll just say I put this definitely here. Maybe here. I have to have one of these to be sure.
Yeah, we'll put them back where we had them, and then when we have these beers again, we'll be able to again finally place them in their respective homes.
Do you think? Do you even think that you might know? Would you put this like?
I love this beer.
I know you do. You love it more than I do.
We'll drink this soon.
Okay.
Everybody,
Right.
Don't you worry.
All right.
Yeah. So for now, 4 Mile ahead of cannery.
Okay, 4 Mile ahead of cannery. These go back in the undecided position.
It's called Pumpkin Purgatory.
Actually, it was here and here and here.
There we go.
Right. Okay, good.
Okay,
good.
next up to place.
I think we made some headway. Some pumpkin headway.
This Schadenfreude is this staying?
Yeah. So, now then.
I'm happy where this is.
I'm also happy where it is. It's pretty much... It basically it ties with NBC right here. It ties with NBC, but if we got to put one in front of the other, Schadenfreude can go ahead. But they're pretty much on par for me.
For sure.
So.
And Nelson Brewing's pumpkin beer is a very delicate beer. It's completely organic.
It's our only organic, I think.
It is our only organic, for sure. And again, a very delicate beer. So your palate needs to be incredibly clean before you have this beer to gauge any respectful qualities coming from it.
Potatoes.
Carbs.
Clean your palate with potatoes.
There you go. All right, lastly, the new beer that we didn't think we'd have this year, thanks to David and Margot.
Grab that. All right. Pumpkin Vans.
Pumpkicino. Now I think we talked about this. I think we're moving this into third place.
Absolutely.
Not only because it's a fantastic pumpkin beer, but because of its uniqueness in its contributing factors of coffee from Stumptown.
Yeah. Oh man, and I'm curious if we get our hands, if we are so lucky as to get our hands on the other two elusive Elysians, say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see where they land, because I think the Elysians were just such an exceptional...
Top contenders.
The only brewery to have 4 pumpkin beers. Phillips, second place, having just put out a 3rd pumpkin beer this year. Phillips has 3 pumpkin beers. All in the top step anyways, but the Elysians, all 4 of them were just like crammed right near the front, vying for the best pumpkin beer spot.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I think another trip to the States, we might be able to fit 2 more pumpkin beers in here.
I think, pay the ferryman, get me to the other side, grab some pumpkin beer.
For sure, there you go. All right. All right, so this is our final summation for today's pumpkin tasting. First place, of course, is the Elysians Pumpkicino, followed by Parallel 49's Schadenfreude, and then finally 4 Miles Sweet Potato Harvest.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's good. We're in agreement. We're generally in agreement,
For sure.
really. I think I'd like to agree that I'm going to have some more of the solution.
Again, another time we agree perfectly.
Yeah, no, generally I think we're always in agreement. This is, by far the best of the 3 we had today. In fact, number 3 in total out of the 22 we've had this season-ish.
Yeah.
And Schadenfreude number 2nd, Sweet Potato number 3rd. Yeah, what you said.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I'm not even sure. These are pretty close. But again, this Schadenfreude, I think, did have more fall and pumpkin characteristics altogether than the 4 Mile. But I'm really excited to get a couple more Elysians. The other 2, the elusive 2. What did they have? An Imperial Pumpkin Ale, and
there was the
Dark of the Moon. And that was the pumpkin stout. Or was it a porter?
it's hard to tell in this photo. Was it? It must have been.
I'm pretty sure it was a stout.
I think it was a stout too. I get a feeling it was a stout. And then
that was the Imperial pumpkin for sure.
Right. So I'm not usually big on Imperial beers, really, even, but obviously.
Yeah, and so this the Imperial Elysian I think had a higher alcohol percentage. Falling into that Imperial category. But as I recall, I think it was actually on the lighter side in terms of body. So hopefully, if either one of us get a chance to hit up the States and bring back these extra 2. Maybe even 4. Maybe we'll do an Elysian tasting.
I think we should do like an entire Elysian episode.
Yeah. Amazing brewery, amazing pumpkin beers every year.
Yeah. Happy pumpkin beer drinking. Hopefully, we've given you a little bit of guidance,
and insight into how you should be choosing your pumpkin beers. Again, there'll be more episodes to follow. Maybe start with these. If you like our video, like what we're saying, like us as people, comment, share, tell your friends, tell your family.
And when you go to buy pumpkin beer, tell them Paul and Geoff sent you.
There you go.